Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Naikatma just asked me to speak, and because I'm so fallen, I didn't prepare anything. So I'm really just going to reiterate the one time that I met Srila Prabhupada. And it was in Mayapur in 1977. I was there with my Sankirtan party with Pajavali and 4 other brahmacharis, part of my Sankirtan party. And in April of 77, and just as we arrived, Srila Prabhupada, in fact, we had just walked up to the temple building, and Srila Prabhupada was walking down the stairs, and he was preparing to leave. So he walked down, and somebody spoke to him and said that there were these Sankirtan devotees that were there, and they just wanted to have some contact with him for a moment before he left. So he came over, and we were standing in a little semicircle, and Prabhupada came over, and he kind of looked at each one of us one at a time, and I was about the 3rd one in. So he spoke to 2 of the other girls, and then he came to me, and just as I was about to just as he looked at me, I just burst out crying. And I couldn't stop. And so then he went on and to the other 2, and then he came back to me again, and the same thing happened again. So then he went over and talked to Pajavali, and then he actually gave me a 3rd chance. But I couldn't speak to him. Every time I just looked at him, I would burst out into tears. And so he, at that point, he continued preparing, and that meant that he had to walk down the long path to the gate. And his little black Indian limousine was parked near the gate. And so we followed him to the gate. We were the only ones that followed him from the temple. And he got into the back seat of the car all by himself, and he sat on the back seat of the car in a lotus position with his cane right in front of him. So he was basically sitting with cross-legged with his cane right in front of him like this. He was just sitting there like this. And he looked so amazing, so regal, so beautiful. And the windows were all rolled down, and we were on either side of the car. And I was standing right outside his window in the back, right outside his window. And I could see him there. He was just so beautiful. He was so bright. He was brilliant. And his head was so big compared to his body. And I felt that he didn't look like an ordinary human being, that he really didn't look like he was from this planet. And I remember thanking Krishna that I had that opportunity to see him and to realize that he was actually not from this planet, that he was directly from the spiritual world. And I think about that all the time, and I thank him so much for accepting me as to do some service for Lord Chaitanya on his behalf. Thanks for initiating me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pavani. Vrindavaneshwari.